I'm going to call the meeting to order for the regular meeting of the board. We'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
All righty.
I love that.
Okay, so let's move to the adoption of agenda. It is recommended that the agenda of the July 13th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Approval of minutes. It is recommended that the minutes of the June 15th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of School Trustees be approved as presented.
Motion. Second?
All in favor? Any statements or questions from the public? Nope. Okay. All righty. Administrative recommendations, claims. It is recommended that the prepaid and June claims numbered 99,714 to 99,836 be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? Personnel. It is recommended that the resignation of Sarah Eric be approved as presented.
Motion? Second?
All in favor? It is recommended that Eugene Simmons be hired as a full-time custodian for the 23-24 school year.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? It is recommended that Bri Gonzalez be hired as a caregiver in the Mini Mustang Child Care Center.
Bri has worked around, has been in the district for quite a while, Fountain Central graduate. She works with our swim team, with the divers, and we're excited to have her as we're opening our new child care center. She will be one of our full-time staff members there.
I love the name, Mini Mustangs, Child Care Center. Motion?
I'll second.
All in favor? It is recommended that the resignation of Brenda Peck be approved as presented.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? It is recommended that the resignation of Lad Warner be approved as presented.
Motion.
Second?
All in favor? It is recommended that Laura Spicer be hired as a second grade teacher for the 2023-2024 school year.
Mrs. Spicer comes to us with 18 years of experience in Illinois and in Indiana in grades K through 5. So she's seen it all. But her and her family have moved to Petersburg, and her daughter will soon be coming to Southeast Mountain. So she wanted to be in our school corporation. So we're very excited to have her.
Great. Motion? Second?
All in favor? It is recommended that Molly French be hired as a social studies teacher at Fountain Central Junior Senior High School for the 2023-2024 school year.
Molly is a Fountain Central graduate who has recently completed her degree from Purdue University. She's planning to teach U.S. history, government, and economics for us. We're excited for Molly to continue being a Mustang, and we're expecting great things from her for years to come.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? It is recommended that Mike Cross be hired as a business teacher at Fountain Central Junior Senior High School for the 2023-2024 school year.
Mike is joining us most recently from Covington High School. He has a handful of years of teaching experience along with extensive business experience. Mike will be filling our business position, and we are excited for him to bring his knowledge and expertise to our students during the upcoming year.
Motion?
Second. Go ahead, Amy.
All in favor? Teacher evaluations. A motion was made that the certified employees' evaluation guidelines and protocols be approved for annual submission to the Indiana Department of Education.
Our certified employee evaluation and guidelines and protocols has not changed. However, it is a requirement of the Department of Education in order for us to get that grant that pays the appreciation stipends. We have to have this approved by you each year to make sure that we're still following protocol for staff evaluations.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? A motion was made that the policy number 426, Teacher Appreciation Grant, be approved for annual submission to the Indiana Department of Education.
Again, I'm not recommending any changes to policy 426. However, as part of the requirements for the grant, I have to bring it before you each year.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Policies. It is recommended that the revisions to policy number 301, transfer students, be approved as presented.
Okay, the changes that are being recommended, the policy read, a student requesting transfer shall complete the application by September 1st. Count day has moved back to October, but I'm recommending two changes about the acceptance. I'm recommending that we say a student requesting transfer for semester 1 shall complete it prior to September 29th. And also, a student requesting transfer for semester 2 shall complete the application for transfer and submit it prior to January 31st. Also, the other change, along with the policy, comes the application that families fill out. And there's, at the bottom, it says, I certify the information is accurate and understand falsified information may result in transfer requests being denied. But I added a line to go along with what's already in our policy but was not on the form. And it says, I understand that transfer approval can be revoked immediately for failure to follow district policies or excessive absences.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? It is recommended that the revisions to policy number 401, criminal history information, be approved as presented.
Okay, again, this is in relation to new legislation that just went into effect July 1st. The policy that we currently have in effect is mostly okay. However, some changes, we were only requiring a limited criminal history check for volunteers and for lay coaches and some other groups. Now, Indiana law requires that we do an expanded criminal history check for everyone. And also in the law, the volunteers and others that now have to have them are required that they're responsible for all costs associated with getting the expanded criminal history check. So again, this has to do with Indiana Code 20-265-11.2, which just went into effect with new legislation.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor? Other business. It is recommended that the changes to the Southeast Fountain Schools non-certified handbook be approved as presented.
Okay, each year I review, in fact, the handbook says it could change at any time without notice if the superintendent deems, but I try to keep it annually if possible. Two changes are being recommended that I am adding in here. First of all, on page 4 under school bus drivers, I added in there, all drivers are subject to random drug screening. Any driver who fails a drug screen will be terminated. That's been a policy and it goes along with state expectations and in the, from the state. However, I wanted to explicitly put it into our handbook so that, because everyone has to read this and sign off on it each year. And we have a number of of teachers who take our minibuses for clubs or things like that. And I want them to know that would, if they get random drug screens since they're driving our minibuses, it would apply to them too. The second thing that on page 15 that discusses the sick and personal leave for non-certified, and how they get it, they can get 7 per year, but I've added sick and personal leave will be available after a new employee's probationary period and will be prorated until the annual reset date for the employee's job classification. So for example, we add the next 7 days each January for our custodial staff. For example, if a new custodian starts in October, they're not going to get 7 days in October and another 7 days in January. They're going to get, if they pass their probationary period, then we'll prorate for that October through December, and then they'll get their additional 7 in January with their employee group.
Motion. Second. All in favor? It is recommended that the Southeast Fountain Schools administrative guidelines be approved as presented.
Okay, this is also for certified staff. This has to be viewed and they have to sign off each year that they've read our policies. This year, there are really no changes to the policy. The only change to the handbook itself is that now the cover says 2023-24. So there are no new policies in this.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? A motion was made that a spending threshold for legal services be determined.
Okay, so this is under new legislation too, because in some districts, school boards or community stakeholders were being surprised when they found out how much was being spent on legal fees. So now Indiana requires that we set a threshold that you tell me, and we'll, after we talk about it and you tell me a number, then we'll make it an official policy for you to vote on next month. But just for your awareness, in 2021, the total that we spent for our corporation attorney, Stu Welliver, was $604.50. In 2022, we spent, just for Stu Welliver, $5,873.06, and for the attorney Bob Reiling, who worked with us for an employee matter, that was another $7,598. So our total costs in 2022 were $13,471.06. It was higher because we had a couple employee things. If you recall, you had also asked me to send a letter that someone was probable not being renewed, and the attorney worked with that to make sure we did things correctly and stuff. So 2022, we did spend altogether between those attorneys, like I said, almost $13,500, just under that. 2023 through May 31st, we have spent $793.20 on Stu Welliver's fees this year. And some of that was, we had a company that we contracted with to do some professional development, and then they kind of ghosted us. And so Stu took them to court to try to recoup our money from that. So still, it's been under $1,000 other than what happened in 2022. So what I want you to think about is, are you going to say, Tanya, you can spend up to $5,000 after that, you have to get our permission before we do anything more. You can go to $10,000 or you can only go to $1,000. That is for you to decide what the threshold, so I want you to, like right now, if you've heard this, talk about what you think is reasonable. We're not voting on it here, but so that I know in preparing a policy, to put it in policy next year. Next month, sorry. Do you have any, you can discuss this right now, what you think might be reasonable, or you want to think about that a little bit? I can't prepare a policy until I know those.
So you know the amount.
We don't need to vote on the amount, but right?
No, and we have another work session coming up. You can think about this, and then in our next work session, you can tell me, because again, this isn't something that you're voting on. So you may come up with something and we put it in policy. 3 of you may disagree and the policy could get voted down and we were still figuring. But we have to do something because that's the legislation, but you don't have to.
So we can actually work on it next Thursday.
Yeah, you can make a decision at our next work session of to give me direction of where to go with this before you adopt a policy.
I make a motion.
Well, we don't even have to.
I was
We don't
saying we
then,
would have-
Okay, okay.
because we're not,
Okay, to be continued.
yeah, because you don't know what the threshold's gonna be in.
Okay. It is recommended that the Our Shirt fundraiser be approved to raise funds for the Students in Need Fund at both Southeast Fountain Elementary and Fountain Central Junior Senior High School.
Okay, this fundraiser request was put in by Mrs. Morgan and Mr. Davenport, our administrators. They want to start a new tradition with the inception of Our Shirt. It will serve as a visual representation of the unity of the Southeast Fountain community and its support for our schools and students. Any community member, young or old, is invited to purchase Our Shirt to show their contribution to this effort. Proceeds from Our Shirt will go towards the Student Needs Fund, which directly benefits the students of the corporation. The design of Our Shirt will change annually to reflect the growth of the community while still holding true to tradition. It's the goal of the administration of Southeast Fountain School Corporation to provide Our Shirt free of charge to all staff members as they commit their life's work to the students in our corporation and embody the pride Our Shirt represents. We're currently working with local businesses to sponsor these shirts. The sponsor of Our Shirt and their logo will be featured on the sleeve of all shirts purchased in the 2023-24 school year. If you have any questions about it, you can reach out to Mrs. Morgan, our elementary principal. The fundraising goal is $250 to go towards the Student Needs Fund. I would love to see see people everywhere wearing Our Shirt and let them far exceed their goal.
Sounds wonderful.
Oh, we like to see it grow, as the years come, but we see it can be a nice visual. We'd like to have certain games or days at school where everyone's invited to wear our shirt, just to kind of give, like I said, that visual of unity.
Yeah, I like that. I make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
So we'll launch that August 1st, now with your approval. So that'll be an online sale. We'll send the link out and you can share it all you want.
Great.
August 1, we'll go live.
And that'll be on the school's website.
Yep, we'll put on the website, we'll put niewsletters, we'll put it on Facebook, so like I said, that way it can be shared.
Great.
Whoever wants to buy,
Great.
or me.
Exactly.
It is recommended that Sally Ratcliffe be reappointed to the Kingman Mill Creek Public Library Board for a 4-year term.
Okay, and we have to make the appointments from the school district. Sally Ratcliffe has been that representative and would like to continue serving.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Discussion items.
First of all, each year, not only does our main office, central office have to do the annual report for the fiscal year from July 1 through June 30th, our ECA treasurer at the high school that handles the finances for all of our different clubs and organizations has to do one too. She provides this report to this office to be on file, but I want people to know that it's available, if you want to review it. I will tell you, the total of all of our clubs, the beginning balance was $194,200.82. Their ending balance was $200,183.12. But I also, some of that money may be encumbered already for different things. And again, this is all of the clubs. This is also the different classes. So for example, our class of 2023 that just graduated, while they spent most of their funds, they still have $4,314.12, and that would be used when they have their reunions. The current senior class has a balance in theirs after they paid for, the after prom and what the junior class does. They've still got a balance going towards the stuff that they do senior year. Just keep in mind that our current juniors coming in, that were the sophomore class last year, their current balance is $16.50. So they've got a lot of money to make to be ready for the things that the junior class sponsored the year. So, all of you that love to shoot free throws at basketball halftime and the chili cook-offs and the bake sales and all the other things they do, please come with your wallets this year because they need our help.
Yeah, for sure.
Next, legislative changes, in addition to those that were in policies already. I already mentioned the policy 401, the background checks. Some other legislative changes have to do with library books. It does not go into effect until January 1st. I met with Lucas Deal, our media director, and we're working on that. It's so we have a policy in place on what to do if someone wants to challenge a book that's in our library. So we're hoping to bring that for your approval by December at the latest, because the law goes into effect January 1. Other legislative changes have to do with what can be on transcripts. Currently, transcripts included, for example, a person's shot record or something, because that was part of it. That can no longer be on transcripts. Transcripts will only be able to have the student's name and their courses they took and the grades they got in it and so forth. Their test scores from state assessments, those kinds of things can be on it, and that's about it. Another change under legislation, and this is something that IT and our curriculum director and our school administrators are working together to find how best to do this. There's a new law that goes into effect about student names. Now, the intent of the law was more so a student name. Alex couldn't come to school and decide he wants to be called Susie now without us within 5 days notifying the parent. But the way the law was written and the recommendation that came out from the School Board Association attorney, Julie Slavens, was that we need to, for every student that might be, so now if Alexander wants to be called Alex, we'd have to get permission for that. If someone goes by their middle name, if their name is Susie Ann and she goes by Ann, we'd have to have permission for that. So that we're not making over 1,000 phone calls home within 5 days of every child that goes by a shortened name or a middle name. We're looking at ways that we're hoping in registration we can find a way to do this so that parents know, but it's going to be a little difficult because, again, we can't call it Alexander Alex unless we have notified the family within 5 days of him asking to be called Alex. So that's under new legislation. The attorney fee threshold is new legislation. We just talked about that. Another thing that changed, in the past, it was required that superintendents hold monthly discussion meetings with the teachers union to discuss things that come up. Bargainable issues are still only salary and benefits, but other things you had to do discussion for. That has changed. We no longer have to hold those discussions. However, I'm not recommending that we make it a policy one way or the other right now. I will say it's very important to me that we have a great working relationship with our teachers. So I will continue to discuss things with our union leadership as long as I'm in this seat. Things that I can and should discuss with them, I'll continue to do that. I'm not suggesting that we make it a policy because I don't know what the next superintendent after me or anything else. I can't see through a crystal ball. So that was another change. And then the big change from legislation, of course, families will no longer be paying book fees. That will come from Department of Education will send us a flat fee per student enrolled in our district. After count day in October, when we have the official count day, we'll get paid based on that number of students in our district. Now, we'll get more students after October 2nd, and we still have to provide them with textbooks, but we won't be getting any more money to provide those students with textbooks. The flat fee, whether the child is in 2nd grade or 11th grade, will be the same amount. We know that the books that are used are different in each grade level, so we're very hopeful that that we're going to be okay with this. The other concern is the fact that textbook, if they're waiting till count day, they're saying they hope to get those payments with our tuition support dollars in December, but we have to pay our textbook companies before then. So, we're lucky we're one of the districts that are in good financial shape. So, we're making choices how to do it. My other concern, and anyone that's watching this webinar and listening to this, please, please, please still fill out the application for free and reduced lunch and textbook. The reason we need people to still fill that out, even though we have a grant for meals and we have a grant for textbooks, if we don't show that we still have a need, as soon as that grant runs out 3 years from now, we're gonna lose that and we won't have free meals anymore. Secondly, we get Title I funding. We're a Title I district. That is based on the number of people in our schools that qualify under the free and reduced application forms. So if people stop filling those out because of free textbooks and our meal grant, we're gonna lose all of our Title I funding and lose that. It's gonna be a nightmare. So, get the word out in the community, fill out those applications if you think that, if you qualified for it before especially, you still qualify, and we still need you to fill it out. And even if you didn't qualify before, but you think there's a chance, please fill it out.
And that's going to affect every school, not just ours, but every school.
Well, but not every school has free meals like we do.
Right.
So people in some districts will keep filling it out because they want their kids, because that's the way their kids get free meals. In our district, because of the grant we got last year, all of our kids get free meals, so.
Which is great.
Yes, it is, as long as it doesn't mean that people stop filling out
Right.
applications, that would not be great.
No of those forms.
All right. Moving on, the statements from the superintendent. The Fountain County Fair opens this week, and they are having their stuff every night, but they have theme nights. And I just want to say, on Tuesday, July 18th, is Get Involved Fountain County Night, and schools were invited to attend as well. So Mrs. Morgan and I will be having a booth there, and there will be school supply lists for the elementary school, a copy of our new A strategic plan will be available, meet and greet with the principal or the superintendent. We'll have some other little giveaways for people who stop and visit us. So we hope that a lot of people stop by and learn more, even if they're not currently Southeast Fountain School Corporation students and families. We hope they'll stop by and find out about the great things happening in this district so that they'll want to be Southeast Fountain School Corporation families. So again, get the word out to have people stop by. Secondly, I want to acknowledge American College of Education is an online university, and one of our current administrators is working through there in the administration program and asked me about partnering with them. Partnering with them just simply means that they will give me information about it and I send it on out to our teachers who might be thinking about extending their education. But by doing this, our teachers, if they go there, automatically get a $500 scholarship because we're a partner district. So that was really exciting and a no-brainer, an opportunity for our teachers to get some money to help pay for extending. Then they just reached out to me last week, and because we're a partner district, they wanted to do something for our teachers. So they're sending me a check the day that all the teachers come back for our first teacher day. They're sending me a check to help pay for lunch for all of our teachers that day and things like that. So I just want to acknowledge and give my appreciation to American College of Education because we certainly appreciate any kind of partnerships that help support our students or our staff and give us that opportunity. So I'd like to thank them. I want to give a big congratulations to our building trades program for the house that they built this past year. For anyone who's unaware, it's directly across the street from Sterling Church and behind the old, it's now Proactive, but it was the license branch. The house is right back there. The house has sold. We are closing on it tomorrow. And they are going to make a big net profit so that they can start building a new house right next door to it, beginning with the next school year. So congratulations to Adam Acton, our teacher, our students in the building trades program, and a big thanks again to Jay Allen and Renee McGrady, who started this by giving them seed money to start, at a no interest loan, who again, when they worked from profits from last year, once they ran out of that, again, those community partners stepped up and helped them so they could get over the finish line. Now we have even more for next year. And again, a promise from them that if we get to that point, they'll keep doing that because they want to see this program succeed and keep going year after year. So thank you to all of them. And then final statement, I want to say a big congratulations and thank you to Brenda Peck, who has taught in this district for more than 40 years, who is a legend around here. And I think everyone in this community has either had her for a teacher or their child or their grandchild or someone has had Mrs. Peck and knows her. And while she will still be around, her letter assured me that she'll still be around for athletics and other kinds of events and supporting the district. Certainly her activities that she did, the big spaceship and all the different projects she did with students that year after year, long before I came here, will certainly be missed, but she is very much appreciated. And I want you and others to know, as much as I would love to have a big community celebration to celebrate Mrs. Peck, she has requested that we not do anything. And I'm going to honor her in her request, but certainly it's not because we wouldn't like to celebrate her. So thank you to Mrs. Peck.
Statements or concerns from the board?
I'm excited about our shirt fundraiser. I think that's going to be fun. I think that's very community oriented. I think it's a great way of getting the adults and the kids together. I like that. And then again, I appreciate all the years that Brenda Peck has put in about Central.
Yeah, I'll tag on that. That's what I was gonna say. Happy retirement to Brenda. Thanks for your dedication to education as a whole and Southeast Mountain School Corporation. And congratulations to the building trades on selling that second house as quickly as they're selling. It's really a great program. I'd love to see it and can't wait to see the next one. And I am also really excited about the our shirt. Yeah, I think that's going to be a start of something bigger to come down the road.
Fun.
And I too want to thank Brenda for all the years that she's given this corporation and all the fun. So congratulations, Brenda Peck.
I want to add on to all that. Congratulations to Brenda and everything. I'd also like to thank Mrs. Morgan and Dr. Grimes for going out come this 18th and representing our school for us. We really appreciate that.
That's a great deal. Okay. Document signing, we've already taken care of that. So adjournment.
Motion.
Second.